Welcome everybody to Adamcast on Thursday. Normally I have Carlin joining me, but today I've got a special guest. This is actually really exciting. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with. This is Mr. Ryan Long. Welcome, sir. How's it go? And
Carlin is buried in my basement right now, and
you
I'm the
took
new
her out.
Carlin. I took over for you on Tim Pool. I'm the new Adam on Tim Pool, and I'm the new Carlin on Adamcast.
I believe that's Ian Crossland now. He is the new Adam. Supposedly, I guess. I don't tend to watch the show much, but that's okay. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. I hope Carlin isn't actually buried in your basement. Well, it's okay. I guess I'll spin the UFO.
Well, someone is, so I'm hoping it's Carlin or else some.
Well, you just said it live, so I guess it's too late. Anyway, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. It's really great to have you here. And let's talk about you. This is Ryan Long. I don't know how many people here know him. This guy's hilarious.
Big celebrity, yeah.
He's huge celebrity. This is basically
a big get for you, Adam.
This is the biggest get for me yet on my show. It's huge. I'm stoked about it. And man, you made me laugh so hard on your woke versus racist video. That thing went viral, didn't it?
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, that was cool. That was the biggest one that I had this year for sure.
Yeah, that is. It was good. So
and you know what's funny with that one? It's like because I guess like it keeps going viral again because there keeps being stuff like how Richard Spencer like agreed with the like all the woke people and
oh yeah.
So like every 2 days or whatever, there's like a new thing, and then everyone tags it and posts it, and then they made us into like memes where they keep taking the woke racist photo of me and Danny and then putting other people's faces on it. So like that video just keeps like coming back. There's like 2 or 3 things that I've done that like every month it comes back and kind of goes viral again independently.
It feels like 2020. You could just play that video the whole year and it would make sense. Just like or the past freaking 6 years, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's so accurate as what it is. So if you guys haven't checked it out, you have to. It's good.
It's so funny when something like that just becomes such a consciousness and then everyone has to talk about it. So it's like people were, making videos about why it's right. And then there's people doing like half-hour rebuttals to like why it's wrong, like dissecting it like it's a book report.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh man, I love that. So let's talk about you for a little bit. Where are you from? Are you from New York? I know you live there now.
Yeah. So I only moved to America a year ago. I moved to America to be movie star like Ally McBeal. That was the plan. No,
really?
I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I just got my green card. Yeah, dude. So I was like I had this whole other like career in Canada, and then I got my green card, moved to New York a year ago, and then I got in all the comedy clubs and started doing all that thing, and then COVID happened like 5 months after I got here. So great timing. That's what they say. Timing's about timing, and pandemic and race riots. That's the
funny
quote.
About a year ago, I left New York. I was like, I'm out. I'm out of this place. But it's funny, you're from Canada. No wonder I've never heard of you before. I mean, that's
no, I know everyone. That's what everyone thinks, though. And they're like, oh, this guy came out of nowhere, and it's like, well, I did. Yeah, I literally did. I wasn't in this country. Yeah.
Well, Toronto's cool. I actually been there. Do you know the board meeting?
Do I know Drake? Yeah.
No,
boy, Drizzy.
Do you know Drake? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm cool. We're cool. Me and Drake. We go back to nowhere. So I've been to Toronto. Have you ever heard of the Toronto board meeting?
No, what's that?
It's a longboarding event every September. The beginning of September, they wear white shirts with black ties.
Sounds like Toronto. I'd be board meeting. That's Norm Macdonald.
Zing. Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, that's the only time I've been to Toronto. It was not a very good story. Should have warned you going into that. That's okay. Well, that's cool.
So they're way more sensitive about like all this COVID stuff in Toronto. Like I'm watching my friends. Dude, I saw yesterday a guy that I know that's a comic. He posted, he's like, he like got diagnosed with COVID, and he posted this big, like, I've been diagnosed, like I'm, not even sure what I'm going to do. And I was like, what do you mean? You're going to be sick for a week? It's like nothing. The guy's like 28 years old. Like it just, I don't know, stay away from old people and you'll be a little bit sick for a week.
Yeah,
or you won't.
And you won't kill somebody.
Yeah.
Right? No joke. Yeah. I think I had COVID
there. I know. I for sure did.
February. Yeah, did you?
Dude, half of New York did. I had like 3 friends. The other guy in the woke racist video, when this stuff was popping off, for like 3 days, he was like, so friggin' weird. I can't smell. And it was like all these articles were coming out about COVID, and he's like, couldn't make the connection to the point where he can't smell anything.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So that like 3 of my friends all had COVID. So it's just one of those things where like, I didn't I never got tested yet, and I didn't have any symptoms or whatever. But like, I can't imagine like all the people that I know had it and I didn't, so probably
Yeah.
did.
What I want to know is if you did have it, doesn't that mean you have the antibodies? And doesn't that mean you don't need to wear a mask anymore? Like if you have the antibodies, that means you had it and beat it and you're good and you can't spread it because you beat it and it's already dead and your body can kill it and right?
I
I don't
mean,
know.
well, it's hard to know because the like news is essentially just given up completely on trying to tell the truth. There's You can live
That's a
in
good
whatever
point.
reality you want to. You can think
Yeah.
that or think the other thing, and there's going to be an article that says both of them. You know, you get to
Yeah.
decide what reality you want to live in. They don't. Same with like opening up. They don't even really seem to talk about it anymore. We're just like, yeah, I
That's
guess
true.
this is what it is now. So I
Yep.
think with whether they have the antibodies, some people are like, I'll watch one article where it's like, yeah, you're good, everyone's good, and then the next article is like, yeah, no, you can get it 95 times. So they don't seem to like care about consistency at these places. Whatever
Yeah, now
suits them at the moment, right?
yeah, now they're saying that it can actually get underneath the mask, even if you're wearing the mask, and it can get into your ears and your eyes and under your fingernails. No, I'm embellishing a little bit, but
So then, yeah,
that's what
maybe
it
we
feels
just
like.
like, okay, masks are out then.
I'm just like, just
Haha, Bane,
let
you're
it hit me.
screwed. I
Just let
saw
it
an
hit
article.
me. Go ahead. What?
Adam, I saw like I actually was just talking about this, but on my podcast, the Boys Cast. But there was an article that because how like at first whatever they want to get, they make the information to suit that kind of like
Of
when
course.
they were like don't wear masks is bad because they wanted to have more mask and whatever. Like they just always lie, right?
Yep.
And there was this like a bunch of places posted articles saying that like it's actually hot for guys to wear masks. Like that's why they should wear them because it's just the most like condescending nonsense. And and then they was like then they showed a picture of like Chris Hemsworth or someone like super, some hot dude, and they're like, look at this guy, like this is you, and you're like, oh, that could be me. Like you show up with a mask, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know a movie star was showing up. It's so
You like
ridiculous.
you scroll down and it's actually a site that sells masks of Chris Hemsworth's face, like the
Yeah,
lower half of his face on masks. Like
yeah,
you
it
look
would be
just
hotter
like
if you
him.
did that. Yeah.
It's like, this is a year for like butter faces. It's like anyone with really pretty eyes. Like this is your year. Go get it.
I
You know what I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah,
It's a
dude.
little
It's like the
brutal.
equivalent of saying with a girl, you're like, oh, baggy mom jeans are back in. Look at Ariana Grande, how hot she looks in these mom jeans. And you're like, yeah, it's not going to look good on some slob.
Yeah. Well, it's like makeup on you could a girl can almost completely change her complete look, but a guy,
Yeah.
you throw a mask on, you take you wake up in the morning, the girl looks completely different. Ah! Or you get home, you
Takes
take the
off
mask off, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, we've all
She
been
kind of
there
threw
where
you
she
off.
takes off the makeup and you're like, oh, I didn't see that beard under all
It
those
is a
that
mask.
makeup. I didn't see that goatee that you had because of all
Is
that
that
eyeliner.
is that stubble? What?
Covered it
Is that an
right
Adam's
up.
apple? Oh,
Yeah.
hello. Did you
It's
not notice
I
this
find it's
earlier?
yeah. You use contouring to get rid of the Adam's apple. That's the oldest trick in the book.
Is that it? Is that how you do it? I don't know.
I
I've
don't know, but
never tried to hide it. It's glorious. So I maintain. I don't know if
I
you can
find it's
see. Yeah,
hard to
look at
tell what.
ah.
Yeah, you know what's funny because I can't see because of your mic, but you look like a guy that would have a big Adam's apple. Like you
That's
just
right. I
have,
do. I'm
yeah,
representing the Adam's apple. Literally, my apple
yeah.
on my neck. Yeah.
Like if I were to
So
put money on what the Adam's apple situation would, I'd be like pointy for sure, and like moves a lot. You know what I mean? Yours is one that's like up and down quite a bit. I imagine when you talk.
well, I'm a singer too, so I'm constantly and I'm speaking. It's like my new job now is being a YouTuber. So I'm
Yeah,
sure this thing is constantly, but you can I hide it behind the mic. I'm
because
not
you're like
necessarily
because you're a
self.
musician, right?
Yeah. You can see my guitar. I
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
bunch of guitars. I kind of miss them. Have you ever played any music? You a musician at all?
Yeah, dude, I was in like a pretty popular like punk band in Canada, like before all this stuff.
Oh, no
Yeah,
doubt. That's awesome. What did you
yeah.
do?
There's
You
so
sing?
yeah, I sang in the band. It was called the
Cool.
Johnstones. Yeah,
The Johnstones. Okay.
yeah, yeah. We
Go
kind of had a
go ahead.
couple hits in like the MTV days and stuff like that.
Can we
But
hear them anywhere? Can we find them somewhere?
yeah, dude, yeah, pick it up.
I'm gonna. All right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
Keep
know.
talking. I'm gonna look at this. The Johnstones. What is it on
It's
YouTube?
Gone for a long time was like the hit. We actually just
Gone.
took all the videos down and put them on like a new channel, but there's one up. I separated. I'm separating all my channels. I took the advice from there's an Adam
Oh, here's
Schultz,
one with the
Andrew
lyrics.
Schultz
Okay.
advice. Yeah, whatever. What do you want to play it?
Should
I
I
won't
play
give
it
you a
right
co-
now
I
for
won't.
everyone?
I mean, if you want a copyright strike from me,
All right, everyone. I'm gonna just play a little bit. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Here we go. I don't know if the sound's gonna work. Hopefully it does. Yeah.
I think I can only hear it through your headphones bleeding into the microphone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's actually pretty awesome. It sounds like something I would skateboard to in the, I don't know, mid 90s or something like that.
Yeah,
That's
or
pretty
being
good. I
like
like that.
a party scene of a movie.
Or a party scene of a movie or a
Yeah.
montage scene. I could see that also, of like a college movie of some sort.
I think there's everyone just transitioned in like COVID. We're all just like, I guess we're all YouTubers now. I think that's the
Yeah,
new normal. Everyone's a YouTuber, dude. Like Jimmy
everybody is.
Kimmel's a YouTuber, Conan O'Brien, they're
The Tonight
YouTubers.
Show, they're all just YouTubers now.
Yeah, but
And
no one has their thing. Like even like a guy that's a doctor. He has his like doctor advice YouTube channel. You know, all the fitness
yep,
people. They're not trainers anymore. They're like YouTube train. Like everyone's
yep.
just like, you know.
Who needs school anymore, right? We have YouTube,
I
right?
agree.
You
Yeah.
could literally find anything you want. That's pretty awesome.
That's why I was kind of I was talking to these like older dudes, and it was sort of funny watching. I don't know, like if you call them like boomers or whatever you want to say, but when they're
Depends
sort
on
of
the age.
realizing things that I would feel like people kind of our age would be like, yeah, no crap. Like see me not swear there. That was pretty good, right? No crap.
Nice
But the
job. I'm so proud of you.
he was like, it's almost like this university thing. People come out of universities and they paid $100,000 for this degree, and then they can't get a job. And you're like, yeah, that's what's happening. It's like
Yeah.
them sort of like just realizing things that like everyone's been saying forever.
It's like, newsflash, we've known this. They don't even want that. They want real experience. That piece of paper means nothing.
Yeah,
Really
I
does.
never
Like you
even got mine.
No,
I
you never
finished.
did?
No, I graduated, and then
Oh,
like I graduated, and then but like I don't have my degree because basically what happened was I just kept like not doing it, and then I did it. You called them like whatever 6 months later, and they're like, yeah, you need to pay some fee now, like $500. And at this time, I was like
what?
playing in the band. Yeah, I was like playing in the band full time, and I'm like, I'm not driving 2 hours to like go get a piece of paper and pay a bunch of money. I was like, all
I'm in a
right, well,
punk band
whatever.
now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
dude.
need this. I'm gonna make it, and actually, I'm gonna write a song about this. This is so
Yeah.
punk.
I don't need my degree.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So that's cool. Yeah, and I saw your new music video about feminism songs. That was
Yeah.
that
That stuff always makes me laugh so much.
was good. What's your buddy's name that you do all this all this
Danny
with?
Polishuk, and all of his socials are Danny Jokes. But
Danny
yeah,
jokes.
that
Yeah, he's
stuff.
great.
There's certain things that just kind of like, they don't always even do better, but that always make me laugh. It's like those like that corny like parody song stuff, prank calls, for example. That stuff. There's like nights where I'll come home and just watch like 3 hours of prank calls myself, and I'm like, even when they're bad, it just makes me laugh so much more than anything else in the world. Just
That's the best.
yeah, it's my hot button issues.
I love that though. You really have I mean, are you getting attacked at all? I mean, I feel like your hot button issues are the hot button issues of the day, and you got to be pissing mad people off.
Yeah,
No?
no, there's like weeks where my Twitter is just entirely people arguing with each other, and like I'm watching on my comment threads people ruining their friendships in real time, dude.
You're like, whoa, all right.
Honest to God, it'll just be like at any time, it'll be like 7 different, conversations going on any different platform of people like yelling at each other. That, someone will tag someone, like, for example, the woke race thing you said, someone would tag
Yeah.
someone else in it and be like, this is you. And they'd be like coworkers, and they'd be like, this is me. I'll tell you. And then they just get in these huge arguments. And I'm just like, all right, calm down, guys. I don't see, I
Jeez.
don't argue with anyone online. I don't argue with people on
Smart.
Twitter or Facebook or anything.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
also
like that.
think there is a part of it depends on, I think this is like what people screw up so much in life and everything is they can't focus on what they like want to get accomplished. It's like,
Yep.
even when you kind of look at like movements that have got off track, it's always when it loses focus. So with me, if I'm going to make these videos every week and like, be a filmmaker and put together these crews and be like thinking about that.
Yeah.
I can't also be kind of living this like internet troll sort of situation life. But if you are just a broadcaster and like, which is not cool, right? There's lots of
Yeah.
people that have like that, and they're super funny and they do like 3 podcasts, and that they're kind of broadcasters, I guess, what you call it. if that's where you're living, I think that's like part of the game. You're also arguing with people, then you can talk about it. And but
True.
if my focus is, you know, making videos, it's hard to also like have that rifling around in your brain at the same time that you're in. Also, like I'm
Totally.
thinking about making a video, I'm on set, but I'm also like in a fight on Twitter. Like I
Yeah,
don't
right?
want to.
I
Yeah.
think it boils down to just focusing on yourself versus focusing on others. A lot of people nowadays focus way too much on others instead of really just getting to the nitty gritty of what they need for themselves to be happy for them. They're like, oh, it's always someone else's fault. Like, I'm going to blame other people. And instead of just working on yourself. And that feels like that's what you're doing. You're just kind of rocking out your stuff, which is why you're
Yeah.
producing all this awesome stuff. So
Trying to.
it's
It's also
great.
like that thing where you have the way you're describing. It's like then there's this whole genre of like bloggers that are like giving people advice, but their lives are a mess. It's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. It was like, what are you
Mhm.
talking about? I know you. Your life's a mess.
Yeah, I saw you peel off like a piece of pizza from the side of your face and eat it the other day, and
Yeah,
I don't
and you've
know,
got
something.
relationship advice, or worse, you've got advice on like what they should do with the United States economy, like the biggest
Yeah,
economy in the history of the world. You've got the scoop on the moves they should make. And it's like you have literally a balance on a high interest credit card. What are we talking
yeah.
about?
You went to school for art. Like, how do you know how to run a country, right?
Yeah, that's
I'm
people
still
always
learning.
have that. Whenever you talk about companies, I find that people. I did this video that I said like I was the first candidate with the opinions of 20-year-old girls, like exclusively 20-year-old girl opinions that I was running on,
Yeah.
which was kind of a little bit in this vein. But I always find it funny when girls, you know, and I'm kind of generalizing girls, but there's lots of dudes that do this too. But there's this idea, well, it'll be like, if I was, you know, running this company, I would do this and this and this. And you go, you just explained why you'll never run a company
Yeah,
because yeah, I mean, you could take over someone else's company and then
yeah,
run it to the ground in a year, but it's like
yeah,
you just explained to me the mentality of someone that will never run a company because you don't
yeah,
understand how to incentivize, you don't understand like how work flows, you know, it's like
yeah. And it's
so
like
it's
80-hour weeks. I mean, to fully run like a big company, it's like it's not just like a 40-hour, like, I'm here at 9 o'clock, time to leave.
yeah.
5 PM. Doo doo. No, it's like you're always on call. You're always doing it. I mean, the bigger the company it is, the more you're working. So,
Everyone that I know
yeah.
that's like very successful generally works very hard unless
Yeah.
the only I guess there's the only other version is like the people like I say this with actors. Like I'm sure they kind of work hard, but it's not really like they're in control of it. So there's a difference between like, you know, being busy. It's like your friend that did bad in school and he was lazy with everything, but then he
Yeah.
works this construction job where he's like kind of, you know, sweating buckets for 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
When it comes to running his own thing, it's like two different things. Some people like can work hard, but they can't have that mentality where you like work hard in a way that you actually like build something and orchestrate something because it's like a different type of working hard.
But some people are really good at projecting that they can work hard and show that they can do that. So that's why they're good at being online influencers of showing others how to do things properly. You
Yeah.
know, it's that mask. It's all about mask. That's like the theme of 2020. Having a good solid mask, whether it be online, whether it be on your face. That's basically
Yeah.
it.
It is. We're all wearing a mask a little bit, aren't we, Adam?
Everyone. Yeah, of course. Of
I
course.
respect the hustle. Like, you know, I don't have this attitude that like one thing's better than the other necessarily. Like, I don't have this idea that comedy is like, you know, if whatever we're telling jokes about sex in a bar. I don't think it's like some high thing. But that's what when I see the influencers that are like running a business and like making mad cash, I'm all like,
Yeah.
I don't like look down on that. But the problem is with
Hey,
any of
it's
that
the life.
stuff, there's you know, an amount of those people that are doing it, and then there's 99.99% of people that like are doing it and making $10 a year. And you're like,
Yeah. That's true.
those are
And
something you kind of, yeah, you kind of try
200
different
200
things and
stuff.
something pops. And you know, maybe you do some inspirational quotes on your Instagram and it goes super viral, and you're like, I guess I'm that now.
Yeah, right?
That's The
That just
Rock
makes
and
you
like
think
Will
of
Smith. They basically made like one video or two of them saying, you know, what you got to do is, you know, basically what I was just doing. Like you just gotta put in the work, you know. It's all
Yep.
about 5 a.m.s and then you know, and
Kevin
then that
Hart.
goes viral. Yeah, and then they're all like, I guess I'm this right now. I'm the influence
Yeah.
guy. Dude, the
Well, I
Rock thing
feel
always makes sorry.
what? No, no,
I was
what
just gonna
was
say the Rock thing makes me laugh so much because I know a guy that like works in movies and stuff, and he goes, because The Rock always goes, I'm up at 5 a.m. every day working out for 3 hours before set. That's what I do. And I'm always there, always and like on time and this and that. And then the guy that works is like, no, what happens is he's 2 hours late and we have to wait. The production has to wait.
Because he's working out.
Yeah. He gets up when he wants to. He works out and then they push the production back. And then The Rock, he goes on
like,
Instagram.
I'm The Rock. What do you got?
Yeah. And no one calls that out, but it's like, that's not really what's happening.
Yeah, well, good for you, Rock. And now he's made his declaration. Well, anyway, that's another thing. I want to stay.
What's the declaration?
Well, you know that he's voting for Biden. Did you see that video? He did that interview with Kamala and Biden. Politics. I want to stay on comedy because I think comedy is the best. There's something so special about making someone laugh that I feel like people need to release and laugh more at it, like nowadays, like more than ever before, because you can't even laugh at silly things that should be silly, that should be funny, that, people are just taking offense at everything. And that's an issue nowadays.
Like a fat girl falls over and rolls down a hill and you have to be like, nothing funny about that.
It's kind of funny. It makes me think of Willy Wonka as when she turns into a blueberry and they straight up roll her down the hall. I mean, it's pretty good. Come on.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. Come on. What are you going to cancel Willy Wonka? Nah, come on. Oh, man. Did I just ruin Willy Wonka? I don't know if SJWs watch my show, but it's whatever.
I mean, I think it's just like sexist that it's called Willy Wonka. Why not Vagina Wonka?
That's a good point. Or Vaggie. I don't know. Feels like Willy. It's a shorter version. You can't just say penis. Penis is Willy is like, but vagina, and then what would be like the Willy of Willy word?
Like a cute name for a vagina.
Yeah. What's the cute word?
Property.
Or like snatch Wonka. That doesn't sound good either.
Snizzy Wonka. How about that?
Wonka. There we go. Let's go with that. All right. Anyway, Coochie, there we go. Someone in the chat.
Yeah, dude. I know what you're saying, and that's why it's such a funny time, because it's like, of course, comedy is like a pressure release, and that's the reason it exists, like in humans to begin with, right? There's a couple of different reasons, but one of them is, why, like as a human race, we have this mechanism is when things get so hard. So there is this sort of a pressure release situation, right? But they don't want that. That's the thing, right? So if people forget that there's like bad faith involved, they don't want people to release the pressure. They want people to stay mad and stay at war, and that's kind of so they don't want if you laugh at it, it's like it takes the power away from the seriousness of what they're doing, right? But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there's different people that deal with it. I mean, I'm the type of person that, like, if someone in my family dies, we're all kind of like making jokes about it. That's just it's comedians too. It's like that's just how I've been. That's how my friend group are, and that's how most of the people in my life are, and that's how I like to be treated too. But
nice.
Not everyone's like that. But there's also
your families are comedians also.
No, they're not comedians. No, but I just mean like they're funny. Like
they're funny. But they're funny. Not. I didn't actually mean it as like a profession.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Every single one of them. Family of clowns.
You make fun of things. You laugh at stuff. It's like it's almost like just an innate thing that people either have or you don't have. The ability to laugh off things instead of being a victim about it. Be like, oh, I'm hurt now. Oh, geez, I'm gonna go complain on the internet.
Yeah, it also is a way to like call out the elephant in the room without, in not a mean way sometimes too, right?
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, even just think of like if you were with your girlfriend or whatever, and it's like she thinks you like me and you are always interrupting each other. She was like, if she wanted to say, hey, can you please stop interrupting me? that's one way to say it, or be like, this guy's always interrupting people, and that's you just made it kind of funny, and it's like,
what a dick.
Yeah, there's just there's different ways to do
what a Willy.
Without always kind of being at war about it.
What a Willy. I've never said that before, but it's taken on a new meaning today. That's great. That's funny. So what are you working on now? What's your next project? You got some cool new video coming?
Yeah, so I do a video every Monday morning at Ryan Long Comedy, YouTube/Ryan Long Comedy, and Twitter and Instagram are all that same handle. There's some bigger projects, like I might make a movie, like things like that. But right now, so I release a podcast every Friday and a video every Monday, and then I'm still doing the Boys Cast, the Boys Cast,
right.
Yeah, and I still do I still do stand up, a bit, but not like, before that I was doing
COVID.
3 nights. Yeah, I was doing 3 shows a friggin' night, but
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
yeah, I'm filming again tomorrow. I usually film like once or twice, and then I go and I do all these like funny street interviews too. So I'm
Dude,
doing a
those
lot of
are
that stuff.
hilarious. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's funny.
Forgot about those.
I get these so I'm sure you get the same thing, but I get all these like sponsorships messaging, and
Yeah.
I'm usually like a little hesitant about it. So because I'm more concerned with like building the thing, and I feel like especially with the sketches, if it's kind of a brought to you at the end, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
having trouble making it work. But the street interviews, it seems fine. So I've done some street interviews for sponsors, and the one that just called me is it's like a fake vagina called the auto blow. And this guy just called me yesterday and we're talking on the phone. He's like, dude, do you want to do a thing? It was the first sponsor where I got the email. I was like, I called him immediately. I was like,
You have
hell
to do
yes.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that so funny? He's like, can I give
Are
you
you
some
gonna
money to make
send
a
me
video?
samples?
Oh, dude, it's so he's gonna send the sample and he goes, also, if you bring it outside, you gotta get it's battery powered. So I have to like get a battery pack to do it. I'm just like the whole day I was chuckling to myself. I was like, this rules.
You're like, you should have like a hand sanitizer and then be like, here you go. Now check it out. You could feel it and see.
Yeah.
It's like have it inside a box. Be like, all right, now stick your finger in there and tell me what you think.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
was
too far?
loving it.
Too much?
I would know I was loving the idea of going further of like having set up like a booth like where people would change and have ask if they could take it for a spin.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be funny. Or you could go stand by because I know you do Union Square a lot. I'm sure you
Yeah.
can maybe find like a porta potty or something and just kind of like stand outside
Yeah.
of it. Like, well, we're here. I mean, you can check it out and maybe clean it up.
There's a park
Get a
with a
bucket of
washroom.
water with
Yeah, there's a park with a washroom on Ave B. I can't remember what that park's called, but yeah, there's one there. You could do that, like wait outside the washroom.
Tompkins.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
Tompkins Park. Yeah, you know
Tompkins
better than I
Square.
do.
Yeah, I used to
I've
teach
been
skateboarding there.
I've been locked in my hole for most of my stay in New York, so I don't. And I'm
Oh,
stupid
that
to begin
sucks.
with.
New York's great. I lived there for like 15 years. I'm a really big fan of New York. Before all the trash and assholes get to you because they're out there.
Okay,
And
what happened? Who hurt
oh
you?
man, countless. Well, I mean, I've been almost run over on purpose. A cab tried to run me over. Oh, actually threw me off my board.
Really?
That's a crazy story, but I don't know.
I'm the opposite. I ran over
Right.
2 guys.
When were they skateboarding also, or
Yeah, I yelled skateboarding's a crime, and
I
I gave
actually
him one
fell
hug.
down. Skateboarding's a crime. 100 points. I'm gonna keep driving. I think skateboarders are actually harder to hit, so I think it's 200 points. I don't know. It's been a while since I played that game,
The
but
skateboarders have been out and about in the
oh, I'm sure.
in COVID. Yeah, they're having a ball. It's a free
Yeah,
for all.
Tompkins. Are you near Tompkins? Tompkins is a
Yeah,
cool spot.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that whole area. Yeah, they skate in that basketball court there. I like that spot. That's cool. What's your
Yeah.
favorite thing about New York so far?
Well, I mean, I moved here because it's in my opinion, the hub for comedy. I still think the best comedians in the world are in New York, and
Right
LA
on.
still has like a good scene. And caliber wise, I think Toronto
Chicago?
was like,
Chicago's got a spot. Chicago's got a
well,
scene.
to some degree,
Yeah.
but it's not the best. Like
All right.
so Toronto has a lot of good people, but there's a different, there's a little bit, it's a different caliber in New York that I thought in terms
Yeah.
of what it looks like in certain places. And some of the things are hard to even explain, but it's, sometimes it's like, okay, there's this guy in Toronto, let's say that, or in Chicago, and you're like, oh, this guy's like a killer, he can kill for an hour. And you're like, there's guys here that have written like 19 killer hours, you know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is like another level to it that's kind of, so that's why I moved here. I just strictly, I wanted to, insert myself into the club scene and, kind of make my mark like as a comedian or whatever.
Nice.
Now that that's taken away, I am a podcaster and I'm making
working.
videos, and I'm going to make a video with a fake vagina next week. So
I can't wait. And for your interviews, there's no better place for weird people to find to interview than New York City. They're just so condensed. You
yeah,
turn around, you got someone new. You turn around, there's someone new. It's like it's super great. People
I always get
watching.
accused of fake. Every video I do, all the comments are like, staged or fake, or they say, oh, how many, that guy cherry picked him. They go, oh, how many people did he interview to get this one? And I'm like, honest to God, I don't
First
know. First
person.
of all, yeah, I'll go first of all, like, I don't know what operation you're running where you think I hired like 19 actors to go make
Yeah.
friggin' YouTube videos. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, it's like, I almost, it's the opposite. If I interview like 12 people, I
Yeah.
usually use like 9 of them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
'Cause they're all crazy. New
Yeah,
Yorkers.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
usually already know the joke. They think that I have one question I'm asking everyone. It's like, no, I have like 20 questions in my head. And then I
Yeah.
talk to the person, and then I kind of ask a question that I think would be able to like troll that person. So it
Yeah.
depends on, if I get a
Just to,
homeless guy, I talk to him about something different than if I get like a doctor. But there's
right,
always
right.
something I could, get in people's heads with. I mean, that's like the art, I think.
For the record, I just want to say this isn't to you, Ryan. This is to the audience of anyone that might think that it might be staged. I can vouch. I lived in New York for 15 years, almost 16 years. People are crazy there. It's not hard to find crazy people. You go up to literally anyone, chances are they're going to be a little kooky and a little nuts. And so, yeah, I just
And they've taken over. I mean, if you remember
oh, I'm
Union Square
sure.
before,
Gosh.
yeah, because Union Square before used to be kind of a mix. It was, there was little gangs of crazies because it's the
Yeah.
same characters. You know what I mean? You
Well,
go
what do you
back
mean
and
by before? Like a year ago?
before COVID. So
Okay, because
because of COVID,
it actually feels like it's going back to where it was. Because when I first got to New York, there was like a pack of
oh,
homeless
I
people living in the
gotcha.
middle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you can buy. They were selling green, like it was like a weird, crazy place that it was just like a little hippie land. I feel like that probably is what more it is now, right? Or
Yes. So
am I right?
I
Yeah.
only know my only reference point was a year ago. And it's,
Okay. Yeah. Right.
guys in
Right.
suits walking around, maybe a
Yeah.
couple having lunch. It was
Whole
it's
Foods.
yeah, whatever, right? Whereas
Yeah.
now, it's a guy taking a dump on a bench and crazy, legitimate nutcases.
I straight up watched a woman piss down into the train tracks. You know those grates at the south side of the park? I was just sitting on the stairs. She just
Nice.
walked over. She was smoking a cigarette. I think she made eye contact with me too. It was weird. I was like, okay, yeah, you're doing that. And she was just like, boom, and like looked right at me. I was like, okay, oh yeah,
So
all
what you're
right.
saying is if you're into that, go wait under the grates.
Into that.
It's
Can
a
you
good place to
imagine being down on the subway, just like waiting for the train? It just starts raining. Like, oh, is it raining? You look up and it's just like Snatch Wonka up there. Just
I said that yesterday. I did a show actually, and it started drizzling. And I said to the audience, like, I know it seems like it's drizzling a lot, but there's just a guy on the top of the building and it's always pissing.
yeah. That wouldn't actually surprise me, or an air conditioner, but it's more fun to imagine.
Dude,
Some guy.
yeah, they've definitely taken over because normal people, like for the most part, kind of aren't out and about the same
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So now it's just they have a friggin' free for all.
They're
Yeah,
just like, woo, the city's ours again.
it
Make New
is,
York weird again.
and there's such the weirdest things that they do. I mean,
Oh
even the
gosh. Give
normal
me some
ones out of
weird
the
stuff.
weirdos.
What have you seen? What have you seen
Uh,
so far?
Well, this isn't like the weirdest, but it's the stuff that to me is the most peculiar. Because when you see a guy just being crazy, like there's this one guy, this is one of a crazier ones. So there's like this guy that says he's Satan, and I have him in a couple of my videos, but he walks around, he says he's Satan, and then he has boxing gloves and
I've seen this
he waits.
guy.
Yeah, so he waits for people to box with him, and then he says he's the devil, and he was telling there's a guy that got hit by a bus, and he was coming up to me and he goes, "I made that happen with my mind." Like he's just like he's all in on this whole Satan act, right?
Yeah, because he jumped in front of the bus, man. It's not so,
Yeah.
it's not so difficult.
But then there are more ones that I go, what for what? There's this guy that's basically kind of like a conspiracy guy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
He's all in on COVID's a lie and the government's I mean, whatever. Just the standard stuff. Yeah, whatever. I mean, some of it's true, probably true, whatever. But but he comes there every day and sets up this little amp and just says like the same speech and no one listens to it. And he's dressed normal. He speaks like a normal person. So it's like that's his life. He's just a normal guy that, he just, oh, okay, honey, like going back to the park again. He goes there for 7 hours and just like they're watching your phones, kind of does like a poor man's Alex Jones, but on the street. And
Do
you
you think
go,
he actually has a significant other though, or it seems like that kind of person's just like by himself, like, well, I'm strapping on my speaker on my back, going to my spot.
well, maybe he picked up one of like the conspiracy groupies at the park, right?
All right, there you go. Okay, good call.
But for why? Who's this for? I go, who is this for? And how are you still doing it
for
after a
him.
year? a year of me, yeah, a year of me being here. He's still just like out there giving the speech for nobody. He has a little sign that sets up, you know. We was giving speech about, he was doing the he's talking about like Watergate still and like all that.
Oh man, Watergate. Jeez.
Yeah,
See, what's
he's
gonna happen a year from now? You're gonna wake up one day and be like, Watergate was real. COVID was a lie. Like, wait, what's happened? And then you
Mhm.
realize he got to you. That's what
Yeah,
it
he's
is.
planting the
Just like
seeds.
just slam it, a hammer on a rock. Eventually, the rock will break. Eventually,
Yeah.
might take a while.
I'm
No,
turning into, you know, what was that thing, the sheepdog, the sheepdog and the what was that in the Looney Tunes where they kind of show up and then hate each other, like, hey Frank, oh, hey, how you doing? It kind of
oh
feels
yeah,
like that. It feels like that a little bit with some of these people, like, because I'm one of the crazies now. I'm just there with my stupid stick pole, like bugging people on the street.
stick microphone.
Yeah, they're
It's
calling
funny
me
because
crazy. I'm
and you're
like,
you're shoving it in their face. This is what gets me every time. You're like, bring it to their face, and they're like talking to it. Then you bring it to someone else's face. They're talking to it. Then you bring it to your face, and you're talking to it. And it's like everyone's getting this close to the mic. Like it's
no,
the
no, no, those are from before COVID.
oh okay okay.
Yeah, I know. People actually got mad at me about that, but the no,
Oh really?
the COVID ones, I put a lav on myself and I have a stick mic for them. But you are right that it comes near a couple people's face, but it's not going back
Going to
and forth.
strangers. Going to strangers though. I mean,
Dude, I got some mad messages about that.
did you?
A guy I know, people, like multiple people, they go, "This is the most irresponsible thing I've ever seen," and
How
they were
dare
like,
you, sir?
"Yeah, that was the gist of it." One guy, yeah, people were got mad just because that was like just out, you know. And I go, "Well, sorry, I'm not gonna sit in my
Aren't they
house for the
wearing
next
masks?
year."
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
it's just, it's
Everyone's
just not
wearing masks.
happening.
Does that happen? Is everyone wearing masks in New York? What does it look like in New York?
Yeah,
Is
I
mask
mean, you wear a
mask city?
mask like if you go into a store or the subway or whatever. I don't wear a mask to like run. Some people are, you know, out of the
Right.
control with it. But again, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm just doing it because that's what you do, and people kind of, it's, you know, whatever. If that makes other people feel comfortable, then fine. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
If
I've
that's
read
what
that
it is,
plenty of
that's what it
times.
is.
People
I'm
wear
not trying
masks.
to be, yeah, I'm not trying to be the guy that's like, oh, wear a mask over my dead body. It's like, what, you know, everyone else has a mask on, so whatever. But I
Yeah,
do the bandana, which is funny because you walk into a store and it's just like,
put the
you're
bandana
like,
on.
yeah, just a bunch of, you look like you're gonna rob the place. You know what I mean?
Like, I would just like a candy bar. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's my bandit
Normally,
voice.
if you went in the place with a bandana, people. Now it's like they're mad if you don't go in without one.
Yep.
What a
Yeah,
flip, huh?
I know, right? What is the world coming to? There was this thing I read on Twitter, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. It was like, people aren't wearing masks because they're afraid of COVID. They're wearing masks because they're afraid of Karens. And
Yeah.
that just stuck with me because it's so true.
No,
It's so
yeah.
true. I was
I
in a
just don't want
store
people yelling at
today.
me.
I saw faces, no masks, just faces. I was like, oh, hey, it's a face, another face. So I put my mask down and I was like, this is nice. Hi. And they were like, hey. It was nice to actually, see someone smile and say something to you. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, and
Nice.
then again, they're not even really talking about what's the plan or anything. I
I
mean, in
know.
New York, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do indoor dining." Like they've been saying that for like 4 months, and then you kind of just stop hearing about it. And then they said they're gonna let people inside, but they're still not gonna allow comedy. And you're like, I don't know, man. I
Yeah.
basically just stopped like worrying about it, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna focus on my things, and
I'm a
that's what it is.
YouTuber now, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's I mean, you're making it work. It's pretty great. I love your
I mean, I
videos.
was
It's
doing the
really
same
enjoy it.
thing. The truth is, like, I was doing this same thing for a long time. Like, I was doing sketches. I had a series at CBC that I was doing like these kind of sketches, and then I was doing these kind of sketches for the hardtimes.net that we like built up the video department of that website. And then when I moved to New York, I was kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, what I've been doing, but on my own channel. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
so I
nice.
built up kind of my own thing. But
Capitalize on it.
yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's going on YouTube or, you know, a broadcasting network, like what's the difference? I'm still kind of making them the same way.
Well, there's a big difference. You're making that moolah on your own. It's your
Yeah.
stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's
Great.
money there too. I mean, and yeah, you're building your thing. It is actually is better. And then just the idea of how fast you can move. I mean,
True.
there's, you know, I've been in, when I was doing my show at the CBC, basically you would do I would write the 7 scripts. They would take like a month to give notes. Then you would go shoot it. And then you would, you know, to edit it. Then they would take 2 weeks to give you edit notes. And then sometimes on the final version, they still have notes, and none of them matter either. It's all stuff that like no one would care. None of it made it better. It's all arbitrary. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it'll be like, hey, we think that you should go with the close up on this shot, and you're like, sure, what you fine, yeah, whatever. Like who cares?
Okay.
You know, yeah,
Makes
exactly,
sense,
right. So it's all it's all that kind of stuff. And then by the end of that, I was doing digital shorts like the ones I'm doing now.
Yeah.
By the end of that whole thing, I honestly felt like some of the sketches were like irrelevant and also like moved a little slow because the internet's pacing like changes so quick. That's why a lot of times I'll make a sketch on like a Tuesday because I release
Yeah.
one every Monday or whatever. I'll film on the Tuesday, and then by Friday, I'll think it's like not the right thing, so I'll just bank that and I'll make something else for that week. So it's like I try to be on the pulse of like what culture is and being like what needs to be said right now. And to predict
Nice.
that 2 months in advance is so insane, right?
Yeah, that's
You know, it's like,
ridiculous.
yeah, what needs to be said in January? Like, I don't really know what's happened that week. What's the energy? Like, especially when you're dealing with stuff like race and the
Man.
police riots and COVID. It's like
Right.
you know, what people thought about, let's say Trump right now versus 3 days ago is completely different, right? And you can't you can't not factor those emotions in. Sometimes it's just like an acknowledgement there, or it just seems like tone deaf that you didn't acknowledge like what just happened, right? So
Well, you
you
think
have to
what
be
2 months from now too, the election will be over. PlayStation 5 will be out. All sorts of different things are going to happen.
Yeah, dude.
That's my list.
Trump will have lost, won't, and he'll still be in office, and we'll be in civil war. Yeah.
Sans fears for all the lefties out there that
Have
for
you
some
covered the
reason they're
debates?
pushing that. I
Have you
did.
covered the debates a ton?
I talked about it last night. You want to talk about it? Did you
Yeah.
watch them?
Yeah, I feel like that's one. I kind of felt the same way when I did in my podcast. It was coming out. I'm just like, I'm just another guy talking about the debates, huh?
Here's my opinion on it.
Yeah.
This is why it's worth watching me. Please watch my videos.
I have the
And
best
like and
takes, though.
subscribe.
I'm gonna
Smash
do
that like button.
Yeah, you've heard all the rest of the takes, but you haven't heard the best takes.
This
You've heard
is
the
the
rest. Now
best
you're the
one.
best.
So let's
But
hear your take, even though you've already talked about it, and I've already talked about it on my show. No, that's all right. I mean, let me just ask, who do you think won? Who do you think won?
I think that probably the best way to say it was that I think Trump was like favored to like win by a long shot, and that didn't happen. So in terms of I don't know who won or lost. Again, it goes back to the alternative reality thing. I was gonna, this is what I was thinking about doing a video next week is like a new app that you just type in your opinions and we curate articles that agree with what you already agree with. So instead, you know what I mean? Instead of sifting through all these pesky websites to find things that agree with you, it's like if you thought Trump plays golf,
curate an article just for you.
we curate. We go through the internet and curate articles based on like your 10 stances. If you think Biden won, here's an article proving that. If you thought Trump won, here's. So I kind of think there's a bit of that. I woke up and watched everyone on the right be like, Trump owned him. And then I watched everyone, on the left being like, what a, Trump got demoed. But I thought my only probably unique takeaway that I've been kind of saying even before with that whole thing is I think that because Trump's like a wrestling heel and he's kind of like relying on like comedic moves without an audience, it just felt like more mean. Because when you're like making fun of someone and everyone's laughing, it was less right. He's like doing wrestling.
This is the one that he was in. There's the president right there. There's so funny, Trump. Dude. I can't zoom in right now, but yeah, someone actually sent me that. I think everyone who is going to vote for Trump already like it didn't change their mind. Everyone's going to vote for Biden. It didn't change their mind. Like just
did you see Scott Adams? He just posted, Scott Adams.
Well, I didn't know if that was a joke or not.
No, I mean this just happened, but he was just on my podcast last. Yeah, he was just no. He was just on my podcast last week, and he like his whole thing was like saying that Trump was this master manipulator and all this stuff, and he was kind of pro Trump, and I think he said he was going to vote for him, and then today. He basically posted this big video saying there's no way I could vote for Trump because he wouldn't disavow white supremacy. And he kind of was on that. He was saying that like, Trump wouldn't say no about white supremacy. So he's like, I couldn't vote for this man. And he goes, you let me down and all this stuff. So there was a few people that it seemed like they flipped on that whole thing.
But right before we went live, I just read a new tweet by him that he said, look, I just said that I'm not going to vote for Trump. And all these crazy lefties got even more angry at me and were giving me all this, crap for it. So you know what? I am going to go vote for Trump.
Yeah, it's a spite vote.
Fine, if this is what you want, boom. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. I don't know why white supremacy was even brought up in the debates, because that's not going. There's none of that really happening in America right now. It's not on the forefront. Like Antifa, like police brutality, like none of this stuff, or what they're claiming has nothing to do with white supremacy. It's like, it's this whole Black Lives Matter movement. I feel like, we don't really need
Well,
to get
that
into
must
all
be
of that, but
nice. That must be nice for you to have the privilege of not seeing white supremacy everywhere. Because
do
I
you see it
subscribe to that.
everywhere?
I see it everywhere I look. I went to the
Do you?
deli and I had a sandwich, and it was right in the meat. It was in the meat. It was in the buns. And a bag of chips.
What's it? White bread,
Every
white
bite.
meat,
Yeah, the
white
white bread.
turkey.
Of course, it was white. Of course, it was white
Gosh,
bread.
it was
Of
like
course,
it
I
was
ordered white bread, and then I lashed myself.
only. I got milk too, white. I
I,
asked for chocolate milk. They gave me white milk.
Of course they did. I just love that's because I was making fun of this with like the Spotify thing with Rogan, how they were kind of they basically, they have this like board that they were saying was going to give them
Oh yeah.
advice. And it's the same thing. They go, oh, we're going to make a committee that's going to go and find out if like your organization's racist. And you're like, yeah, I wonder what they'll find. like, like they're going to come back like perfect, no racism. All 20
Right.
of us found, like, obviously you hire someone to come find. It's like ridiculous. It's like, okay, so we're going to hire a committee to sift through like 100 gazillion hours of podcast and come back if they see any problems. Like, what are the odds they found some problems? It's so
Is
ridiculous.
that their plan? Is that what they're? I haven't really read into that much. I just know that they're trying to censor him in some sense. And it's like, how are you gonna do that? Like, didn't he just sign $100 million contract to just have like a completely uncensored, like his show's uncensored? It's a raw show. I don't
Yeah, well,
know.
I mean, it's a culture problem, right? Like it depends on the culture of your company and how you set it up. I think they've kind of, they're a Silicon Valley company that kind of probably, has come out as, on the social justice side of some of these issues or whatever. So
Yeah.
unless he was going to disavow that to his staff, I think they see it as like, well, we're not that, so it's whatever. You can have your friggin' left wing, like, oh, let's make sure it's all safe for our ears and we hear no bad things or whatever. Or you
Yeah.
can have a free speech network. But I think when you try to like play both sides, because as soon as you dip your toe into like appeasing those people in any way, where you go, okay, we'll just, we'll try to be reasonable about they're never going to be reasonable. So it just never ends once you say, okay, fine, we'll cut that one out. And then they go, okay, how about this one? How about this one? It just never ends. Right. So I think that's why I liked when I saw the Coinbase guy, he kind of came out and he goes, no, we have which is like, I'd like to think of things like this too. He's like, we have a singular focus on being the best company in the world. We want to be the number one in this thing. We want to have a singular vision and we want everyone to be really focused on that. And we think that's what makes that's what's going to make our company great. So we're not going to get involved in like activist causes. We're not going to get involved in that. And that's just not what our company is. And if you want to do those things on your own time, that's fine, but that's not what our goal is. And all of those things are diverting from our goal, whatever it is. Yeah. Right. So I was calling them Coin-based.
Coin-based. That's dope. Oh, I like that. I love that. Red Bull did the same thing. They were like, some diversity trainee, or I don't know, someone in charge was trying to basically like slam all these different training things for everyone inside the company. And Red Bull was like, you gone. And they fired him. It's like, boom, and got rid of all the diversity trainings. It was like, cool. I mean, I grew up, anyone could be awesome. Anyone could be an a-hole. That's basically how it goes.
Dude, I grew up 50% of the people can be awesome men.
Nice. No,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, ooh, the boys make boys great again.
I'm not saying that girls can't, be successful and, live a great life. I'm just saying they can't be awesome. That's the masculine word. That's the masculine version.
Well, what's the female version of awesome?
Emotional.
Nice. Oh, that's funny. All right, this is fun.
No, I like it when I found that with my videos and all that stuff. I've seen when I was running shows or whatever, it's like it's so hard to make something great. And as soon as you start trying to do other things, and they don't always have to be activist causes, it could be like, hey, you know, we want to make sure that we have more women in it, or we want to make sure we have, well, I guess that's an activist cause, but sometimes it's
Right.
could be anything, you know what I mean? We want to make sure we advertise this brand, even
Hmm.
whatever you add to your thing, it's going to make it worse because it's, you know, you're not going to make the right decisions because you have to like include these alternative factors, right?
Good
So
point.
I
Yeah.
think to be like the best at anything and to make the best at anything, you kind of have to like have your head propaganda free, and you can't have things that are pushing you in different directions if you want it to be like, you know, pure to some
Well,
degree for art.
that goes back to the beginning, though. You know what we were talking about very at the beginning of the show, focusing on yourself versus focusing on what others are thinking and what they think about it. That's kind of like if you do that, that is propaganda. That's you being
Yeah.
influenced by that kind of outside influence. Like if you just focus on what you need to make your masterpiece, you're going to make a masterpiece. At least what you think is a masterpiece. And it's for others to decide if it is or not, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing a
You'll
good
make
job
what you're
making
supposed to
something sure.
make. Yeah, you'll make what you're
Exactly.
supposed to make. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
other reasons people don't do it. Like they're scared of the like social ramifications, which is super high right now, of kind of not getting with
True.
the program. And I
Yeah.
mean, that to be said, everyone doesn't always have to get with, you know, some people are more likely to get with the program. So maybe their honest thing is that, but
It's true.
to say that, but there's a difference between like wanting to and having to. I mean, I always kind of used to say it with like because you're a musician, like with singers, there'd be this idea if you were in a punk band and then the guy kind of had this like super poppy acousticy thing, it would kind of be like a
Yeah.
sellout thing a little bit, right? But
Yeah.
not if it's that guy, if it's all the songs about his girlfriend and you're like, oh, this sellout music. And you go, well, I know that guy. And he's like always crying. And I'm like, he's that guy. And he likes this
Yeah.
stuff. So it's not a sellout if that's who he is. It's a
Good
sellout
point.
if he's this some, you know, tough metal dude and whatever. And he's doing that because he thinks there's money involved because it wasn't true to
Right.
him. But if he's that
Exactly.
guy that he's always crying over girls and he's Mr. Emotional and he makes these, pop songs about, dashboard style songs or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's not selling out if that's who you are.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Taking what you have and what you're good at, whether it be some emo singer or some metal rock singer, whatever, and staying true to you is definitely like the key. Finding your
Yeah.
passion that drives you, like that's the key. I like that.
Yeah. Trust your instincts versus outside forces.
Yo, that you nailed it, man. Instincts. I feel like we as humans definitely have instincts. I know for myself, I have like these feelings like, oh man, I should probably go do this. And when I do that, I'm like, things are good. But when I like don't do it, then something happens later on. I'm like, man, if I just did that, like, my instincts were good.
Yeah.
I learned to trust those.
Well, your instincts really are a combination of your life experiences, right? So
Yeah,
if
true.
you kind of have instincts like, I don't know if something feels off about this, it's because, the last time you kind of got involved with something like this, it
Yeah,
didn't go the right way, right? Or maybe that
yeah,
happened
good point.
multiple times enough to sort of build that into your psyche, right? So I
Yeah.
think that they are really good to trust. I always try to, trust the instincts and get better. And your instincts will change, but then, the thing that you should be making at that time will also change.
It's interesting. Now I'm thinking about like what led us to where we are nowadays. And we had these like snowplow parents. You know what that means? It's like they just kind of push all the hardships out of the way for their kids. So
Right.
their kids can just be kids and everything's good. Life is amazing. Woo! They don't get those life experiences to make them aware of things that are shitty that they run into they eventually were people who have been through it all have instincts and past life experiences to know, oh, this is a sketchy situation I'm in right now, or
Right.
that I see enveloping in front of me. I'm going to remove myself. People who don't know that, they're just like, whatever, I'm just going to trust this. And then they get all upset and be like, I'm oppressed.
Yeah.
And then
You
start
know what?
yelling
It probably
screaming.
would have it and even more so, I think the problem was that because the thing, generations, it usually gets easier and it does. So, if you went back 3 generations and they're like, oh, they weren't hard enough on their kids, it's like, okay, but they also lived in a world that was easier. Whereas, like the kind of generation right now that's, 25 to 35 or whatever it is,
Yeah,
they actually kind of were prepped for an easier life and they actually got a harder life. So it was the worst combination of two things.
that's
It
a
was
good point.
harder to get a job. It was harder to, to make money. It
Yeah,
was harder to, grow a business in the frame. Your university degree was worth less. So it's like you were kind of prepped for a life that was going to be easier. and then you actually got a life that was going to be hard. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are so like angry right now.
It's true.
So,
And then you look at the population expanding, like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years ago, it was a third of the world's population. Right now, it's tripled in 70 years, tripled to
right.
almost 8 billion people. I don't know if it's hit 8 billion people yet, but I mean, we're getting there. And so you're competing with all these other people trying to do the same things you're doing. So, and there's always going to be the person that'll do that job for a little less because everyone needs to work. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's tough out there.
Very hard for me to not make some racial jokes on those comments right now.
That's all right. Good for you.
I'm trying to keep it clean for the stream.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
For the golden stream.
Let's read some of these super chats.
Okay.
I got a bunch of super chats coming in. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. I really appreciate that. And yeah, this is Despair Doctor says, hello, my second time joining you live. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. Fractal says, have you ever heard of COVID-19 plugs? They're like a little butt plugs that are hollow in the middle and have an N95 filter in the center. Wait, do you actually use them as a butt plug? And so your farts are like COVID clean or something? Okay, well, no, I haven't. Ryan, have you heard of this?
Yeah, I got one in right now. I always do. I got a couple up there right now that I'm testing out, and then I'll take out the one that I like the least.
That could be another interview question. Like, you should actually like get a prop one. Like,
yeah,
these COVID butt plugs.
It's just from an efficiency standpoint. I don't want to have two different butt plugs in there, but I don't know. What am I made of time?
Yeah, right.
Brushing my teeth and driving. I'm that guy.
While inserting the butt plug. Matthew says the songs reworked for feminisms were fantastic. Yes, they were. They were so great. Oh, when you hit the harmonies, they were just like so good. Oh man, I can still hear it. It's so funny.
Yeah, man, we were like dying when we were making that. When we were deciding, I can't remember what would you do if someone's at home? And then we decided to do that into a medley of Take a Load Off Annie.
So good.
We were just like, this is so stupid. The dumbest thing ever.
That was good though. If you guys haven't watched that, if you look on the description below, I have his Twitter channel and his YouTube channel. You can pop in and follow him on Twitter and watch his videos on YouTube. They're very funny. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
We were just dying, but I think the one we were laughing the most at doing it. Well, anytime that we looked each other in the eyes and sing, that's always funny. Whenever you kind of look each other in the eyes in any sort of way, that's like always hard to hold a straight face, which you can watch. I'm like breaking all the time, but it's fun to watch the WNBA. That was killing.
So good. Oh, that was good, man. That one had me too. Calvin, thank you for that super chat. Logan says, picked up a skateboard for the first time, destroyed a Walmart board almost immediately, spent a lot more on a different board, and I'm actually doing all right. Nice job. Yeah, never waste money on a Walmart.
Yeah, you don't want those Nash decks.
Yeah, right. They're just the worst. They have plastic bearings. You can't even roll. Go ahead.
That's so funny. It has the one that has like chain print on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where the print on the bottom of the thing, it looks like a bunch of like metal chains, just the corniest graphics, flames and stuff like that.
What's cool? This is what little kids like.
Yeah.
Just imagine some like old guy like, yeah, let's make skateboards, but we got to outsource them from China and cheapest possible. Let's make it happen and get a good graphic that kids will like. You ever see Wayne's World?
Yeah, of course.
I forget the name of the guy who owns the arcade.
Noah.
That buys Noah's Arcade. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he starts rapping at the end. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, stop rapping. Oh my gosh.
I'm hip. I'm cool. It's Noah's Arcade.
Yeah, that's it. Nice.
That's what it is. Come bust a move where the games are played. I'm hip. It's cool. It's Noah's Arcade.
When was the last time you saw that movie?
Yeah, I love that movie.
All right.
Not in a while. I think that's one of those movies that if you watch now, you're like, this doesn't hold up too much.
No. I just watched it straight up 2 weeks ago. on VHS. I was way out in the boonies in West Virginia, and they had a VCR and Wayne's World.
And it was
I
good.
held it was good. There was a little like of
Great.
the lines, but it really fit the
Amazing.
experience. Yeah, it
Well,
was great.
Wayne's World 2 has probably one of my favorite, top 10 favorite jokes of all time was
Which one is
when,
that?
so when the guy has a fake eye and he
Uh-huh.
keeps accidentally saying I, and he goes, oh, I'm so, he kept like saying I by accident. And then
Yeah.
so he's trying not to say the word I because he keeps drawing attention to the guy's eyes. And he goes, all right, we'll dot our T's and cross our lowercase J's. I just like, that's so funny. I always love that
Nice.
joke.
Lowercase J. I don't even remember the last time I wrote a J and dotted the J, the lowercase J. I don't remember the second one at all, but I hear it's good. Christopher Walken is in that movie?
No, I don't remember it as much. I just know they were trying to get a
Okay.
music festival and the Aerosmith guy, or no, I can't remember who. Oh, I know it. The Doors guy. I think he kept like coming back from the dead was sort of the idea, wasn't
Oh,
it?
nice.
I don't know.
I don't remember it. I want to see it though because I hear it's actually really good. All right,
Yeah,
let's
it's
see.
good.
Matthew Hammond said Adam and Ryan need to check out Jim Browning, who scams fake tech support people from India. All right.
Danny just
Interesting.
told me about this guy yesterday.
Yeah, Jim Browning.
Yeah, and he's pretty elaborate. So he makes websites and stuff like that. So he shows them his screen, but he's made a fake version of their website that's not working. So and they're trying to get the sales, so they're flipping out. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This is what I'm looking at. I don't get it. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I want to watch a few
love
of
it.
those because I was just told that yesterday too. I guess this guy's popping off.
Nice. Yeah, I'll check it out. Isaac says, question for Ryan. What was your motivation to start Boys Club?
The Boys Cast.
Yeah, I guess the Boys Cast.
So what happened was this was like an ongoing joke from Toronto in the corner comedy club. Me and the guys used to always hang out. Like it was all just like boys. That was the joke. And I had I had a joke where I did that. I was always saying that on stage because it was kind of in the midst of the sort of like men are bad sort of situation.
Yeah.
And I just like the idea of like obliviously being super pro boys and acting like you just did. It just used to bother people. And they don't know why. They'd be like, "You're not supposed to do that," and you're like, "What? I'm not supposed to say boys?" And they're like, "You know what I'm talking about."
You know what I mean? I'm offended for other people.
Yeah, it just kind of bothered people, but they didn't know why. And then we used to have the chant was boys, fellas, boys. So it was all that stuff. And then there's one more story with it. There's this guy, Danny Martinello, because we used to, when there was like 10 dudes hanging outside the comedy club yelling at each other, and we used to call it street riffs. Anytime there's a good joke, everyone goes street riffs. And then one time we were talking about stuff, and then Danny Martinello left. He stand up, he goes, "Man, I freaking love being a dude." And he's dead serious. He's like a frat boy from Alberta. He goes, "I freaking love being a dude." We're like, that's so freaking funny.
Boys.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you, Isaac. CPT says, favorite comic, living or dead, for you, Ryan?
So I don't know if he's necessarily my favorite, but I always kind of bring him up because this was like my first guy that kind of I was like in love with when I was young was Tom Green.
Yeah.
Like that was the guy for me when I was like 11 years old. So when I was doing all this street stuff when I was really young, all of us were kind of doing an impression of Tom Green at the time.
When did you start comedy anyway? You said when you were young.
Well, I was always making videos. So I used to do when I was in high school, I used to film like bugging people and doing pranks and like messing with people and stuff like that. And then in the band, I had a TV show that was like a kind of like Jackass with the guys in my band. So I was kind of doing all that stuff simultaneously. And then 10 years ago is when I started doing stand-up. But I've been doing kind of messing with people and making videos and TV shows for like since I was like in high school.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know who I would say. Oh man,
Bill Cosby.
I remember watching Richard Pryor.
Current.
And actually,
Bill Cosby current.
Current Bill Cosby. No, yeah, I think Richard Pryor was the first one that I remember like making me laugh. And then
Nice.
I think I really like Robin Williams a lot. And then I don't know.
I still think Louis C.K. might be like the greatest alive.
Louis C.K. He's great too. Yeah, I really like him. There's some good comedians that have come.
Yeah, and the most prolific too.
Right on. Maxwell says, "Hey Adam, have you looked into that lunar landscape article I emailed you? If so, what do you think? Spin that UFO. I will." Oh, it's actually not spinnable at the moment. I gotta fix this thing. It's kind of tough to do on the fly. Ooh, I did it. All right, I'll spin that for you. And I haven't checked the article out. Sorry, but there, the UFO is officially spinning for you. I guess you can't see it because of my name, but
Yeah, I can't.
that's all right. It's more for me today than.
I was impressed with the spinning UFO last time I came to your place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember?
yeah.
I was like obsessed with it.
Broodied it. I
was like,
broodied it.
how is this working?
Yeah, that's they didn't give me permission to take this. I kind of just this is mine now. This is now mine. And yeah.
No, I get obsessed with all those little things. I'm love
actually kind of surprised.
Stuff.
I'm surprised they didn't actually haven't said anything about it. But they haven't. So, and I mean, we're in the same house now. They could technically come down and be like, "This is mine." I would probably fight them for it, right? Because I mean, I love these little things too. It is pretty cool. Do you see my light bulb behind me?
I mean, that's the best. Them like you didn't really steal it if it's downstairs.
No, he left it in Jersey, and because I was in Jersey for 2 weeks before, and he came down here and left it, and I was just like, ooh, yoink!
Right.
And then, do you see my light bulb? It's also floating and spinning like crazy.
All sorts of floaty stuff.
Someone sent me that actually. Yeah, I was really stoked about it.
Yeah, very cool. You guys got a crazy setup out there. When I got there, they got like a half pipe, the whole thing. It's wild.
No. Yo, Ryan, you have no idea. That was the Jersey house.
Yeah.
You see the look on my face? Ugh. The Jersey house.
Right.
Wait till you see the new digs. We call it the Cast Castle.
Crazy.
It's like 4 times the size. No joke. It's
crazy. That other one, your house was big.
Yeah.
I mean, those kind of places are unheard of. And
now I look back and I'm like, oh, that was a small house.
Yeah, that was adorable that we used to live. We used to think that was living.
That was cute. Now he already built a skate ramp. He's building a straight up full on mini park in the basement in the basketball court. There's an indoor basketball court.
I'll tell you what, dude. I mean, that's insane, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that working in television right now and have starring in TV shows that don't have that kind of YouTube money. So, I mean, the whole game's been shifted.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just on the coattails though. That's all. That's it. I'm just riding the coattails. All right,
just hanging 10.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Let's see. Where are we here? Oh yeah, here we go. Chancho says, "I need some happy Adam news. Someone tried to cancel my favorite streamer because he took a moderate stance. Spin that UFO. I will spin it." And I wonder. I was just curious, Maxwell. What streamer are you even talking about? And who were they trying to cancel? I don't know.
Was it Boogie?
Oh, maybe that's who it was. That whole thing, right? Is he a game? I don't really even know who that is. He's just like a gaming streamer or something.
I think so. He pulled a gun though on Frank Castle.
I saw that. Wait, on another streamer, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Someone went to bug him.
Yeah. Do you know?
I filming it.
I did kill stream, and Ethan Ralph, he called it the drama community. I was like, that's so funny.
What the gaming streamers?
Yeah, like because it's all about like the drama, and he was like, it's the drama. Oh, maybe it was the other guy. Maybe it was Worski, but he goes, it's the drama community. And we're like, that's so funny.
Of course it is. Gamergate and all that. Matthew says, when did Ryan find the guy that he tried to get to support pegging?
When did I find him?
How? I mean, how did you find him?
I go to that park that we were talking about, and then I walk up to someone and I go, usually I just start asking the question. I go, hey, we're doing a thing for pegging, and I was wondering, and then sometimes someone will go, oh, no. But usually I just start like talking to people. So he was sitting on a bench, and I just walked up and I just start talking to people. And I honestly got 80% of the time. I'm sort of like mastered the art of bullying, I guess you'd call it.
And sneaking it in there too, without even really, like before they know it, they've been asked the question and they're having this conversation. They're like, wait, what are we talking about again?
And a lot of times and a lot of times the question, if they don't answer it, it like kind of makes them seem, like a bigot or whatever. Hey, we're just doing this thing to support women. And they're like, oh, so they kind of are,
I'm here.
Yeah. And then you also use your like personal energy and the personal space thing to sort of like there's ways to sort of do it. Like I've gotten better at it where I used to, you'd come, people would walk away. Whereas now almost everyone I start talking to, I get them
Yeah.
into a conversation.
Well, and you've been doing it since you were a teenager, right? So
Yeah.
you're used to it. That's
I'm
hilarious.
bothering people on the street for a long time.
Yeah. Now you're pro. You've reached pro status. Johnny Gonzalez says, I went to a spot wearing my full face motorcycle helmet with my face shield down and was told they wouldn't serve me food without a face mask as well. Really? That didn't work? A full face helmet, you're straight up like enclosed. How would that not be a thing? Oh, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that sucks.
Johnny again says, not to mention all the masks are BS unless they're N95s. Plus, yeah, that's true. I mean, the cloth masks, that doesn't stop anything. I mean, it stops a sneeze, I guess, right? The big particles, but COVID's like incredibly small anyway. So they say, I don't know. Max Zuber says, all masks are BS. The WHO June 5th, 2020 interim guidance and advice on mask, page 6, no direct evidence on effectiveness of masks reducing spread of respiratory disease. Thank you very much. That's exactly what I was referring to. Bam.
Well,
John
that's why,
Spock.
because the World Health Organization is so safe. That's, I don't know if you know this, but the acronym stands for the Women's Health Organization.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So it's good for them, but not for the boys.
Very overprotective. Yeah.
John says, if Trump is the one who supports white supremacy, why did Biden give the eulogy for the exalted cyclops of the KKK? No one's talking about that side of things. Also, can we acknowledge how silly the clan rank names are? I honestly don't even know their names. I've never actually heard
me
exalted
neither.
Cyclops.
I also don't know them.
Wait, exalted Cyclops is actually like a rank that you achieve or some sort? Because I thought that was kind of like some sort of troll. I honestly am not sure if it is or it isn't. The exalted Cyclops. That's ridiculous. Logan says, check out God's Debris by Scott Adams if you haven't. Very interesting book. It's a thought experiment intended to start a discussion. Do you know that book?
Yeah. I just had, we just talked about him, but I had him on my podcast the other day. I like Scott Adams.
Right. Yeah, I do too. He's funny. Huge Reaction says Ryan Long is a great artist name for a porn star.
Yes.
Or maybe he is a porn star and we just don't know it.
What if I was like had the tiniest dick and it was like an ironic name?
It sounds like you've thought about this before. or maybe like someone actually said that, like, oh, Ryan Long.
Oh, it's like a joke. I get it, because it's not like how
get it.
Like how you have the biggest guy in your group named Tiny, you know what I mean? It's that sort of situation.
Someone on Twitter said, oh man, it's so cool that he actually hired porn stars. Oh wait, let me find this. Like what?
Yeah, I did.
No, what was that? What happened? What did you?
I did that for the hardtimes.net a bit ago. So basically we made this video and it was it was like the joke was that it seemed like it was going to be about feminism, but it was the opposite. It was like all the porn stars were saying, we want people to leave bad comments, but you need to leave your contact info so we could come have sex with you after. And like the names were, but it seemed like it was going to be a thing. Like men need to stop leaving misogynistic comments on porn, but then it like took a hard turn. But we did it was like Riley Reid and Bella Danger, all these girls, and we did them. So basically they were all together in this house and they were doing this stuff for like Fleshlight, if you know what that is. And they were like molding molds of their vaginas for Fleshlight and all this stuff. So
that sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude, they were doing like an assembly line of stuff. Like they would do the mold, then they would go do like a cam girl thing, then they would come make our friggin' like video. So it was weird, dude. I remember talking to like when we were talking to Riley Reid, she was on the phone with like her she was talking to her friend, and because she got in a fight with her boyfriend. She was like, I don't know, my boyfriend's just being overprotective because he doesn't like what I do at work and blah blah. And we're like, I mean, it's a little more complicated than that. Yeah, doesn't like what I do at work. And then
because I'm doing other guys.
Yeah, like hundreds of them. And then it was crazy, dude. And then we made so I knew that they weren't gonna be able to like remember lines and stuff. So I
Yeah.
basically wrote them all on huge cue cards. So I
Nice.
got them to read the entire thing each, and then I just found like a decent sentence here and there from everyone. And there was 2 of them were good, but then like a Bella Danger, I basically went through her whole thing and like scraped together 2 usable sentences.
Nice. You made it happen. It sounded like Porn Factory or something.
Yeah,
What
it
a
was kind of like that, but it was for their sponsors or whatever. It was a weird thing, dude. They rent out these
cycling.
big they rent out these big houses and they just kind of like run the girls through there and just like make all this content. It's bizarre, dude. It's a bizarre little
Huh.
life they've got going on over there.
Just like Airbnb mansions and just make
Yeah,
the most of it.
exactly. Yeah.
Think about that the next time you want to Airbnb a nice mansion out there.
Dude,
I hear
imagine you
Will Smith. He's Airbnb in his mansion, I think.
right. Well, imagine the other way around though. You like Airbnb'd your place and then you're like watching porn and you're like, wait a second, is that my place?
That's my pillow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like laying on
right?
it.
That's what they do. That's like legitimately what they do, though. So that's happened to people 100%.
Oh man. Greg Simon says, shout out to the boys.
Oh, what's
The
up,
boys.
Greg?
Boys.
Boys.
Do you have competitions to try saying it faster and faster?
No one can say it faster than me, so there will be no competition.
I'm not even gonna try. John's back again and says, hey Adam, check out Shy Drummer in Kilt. He does covers and add-ons to songs on YouTube. He does a great job and even covers you and Timberly. Nice. Super dope. I think you'd like it. My cup runneth over. I actually have seen some of his stuff. He does play some cool drums. And yeah, he's covered a couple of my things. Carnal says, Asphincter says what? Asphincter says what? It's a classic.
That's a classic.
Chuck Morris, external generals, high fives. Generals? What is that talking? What are you talking about? External genitals?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with and then he said high five afterwards. So I'm external genitals. I'm gonna change your super chat. It says generals, but we're gonna high five external genitals. Woo!
I mean, he's just saying that dudes rock, right? It's like anyone with an
yeah. I'm gonna take it as though that means dudes rock. High fives. High five me. Come on, do it. Yes. All right, we just did that. Okay. And if you haven't,
yeah, if I don't give you the high five, it just looks like you're doing a little bit of a supremacy. If I just leave you,
thanks for saving me. I was a high five.
It was a high five.
And please subscribe. It really does help me out. And share this video because Ryan's hilarious and this conversation's been great. And go follow his channel too because he posts funny stuff every week. That's great stuff. Desert Bandit says, just in time to smash that like button. Love you both. Thank you, Desert Bandit. Right on. White Lasagna says, started sober October with a root canal and having to miss D&D, but I get to watch Adam Kroger live from the beginning. That sucks that you have to miss your D&D show.
Better than watching Chad Kroger live.
Nice. Do you ever play D&D? You ever played D&D?
No.
You don't seem like a D&D guy.
I was too busy having sex with girls.
Nice.
More for you. No,
boys.
No, I did play Magic the Gathering though.
Did you? You played Magic,
Mm-hmm.
huh? Right on. I played Magic. I don't play anymore as much as I used to.
No.
Chet Chisholm says, masks don't stop the virus. They stop the droplets. It's like how a Jersey barrier doesn't stop people, but it stops the cars they drive. Nice. Oh, cars, not cats. I didn't even read cats. He actually wrote, it stops the cats they drive. Dang, I should have read that the way you wrote it because that's way funnier. Can you imagine people driving cats down the road? They're awfully small for that, but
what would that look like? I mean, big act out,
right? Yeah, I guess Magic actually went woke nowadays. They fired one of their best artists, longest running artists, because she liked a post by someone they didn't like on Twitter. No joke. Some like Jack Posobiec or something, and like some other people that have conservative values, and they're like,
have people learned nothing from Gamergate? Like, it's know your audience to some degree.
No, they don't. They just, it's, you know what it is? The news media, the people that are shouting this all out are going off of how it used to be, when there was one TV box in the house. Internet didn't exist. They got all their news from that and the newspaper, and there was a bunch of people that owned both. So whatever they said, that's how they got their news. That's what it is. That's not the way it is anymore, and it feels like a lot of these people are acting as if they want to believe that it'll go back to the way things were. It's not going to go back. We have the internet now. We can talk to each other and be like cross-reference things.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not going back.
No,
I
it's
don't know.
true. If you want to censor, if you want like censored content, it like helps if you don't have the uncensored content to compete with.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's it throws the whole game off. So yeah, so unfortunately, we really can't go any longer. The internet here is absolutely terrible. I guess Tim is trying to get new like crazy gigabit internet installed, and it's not installed yet. So they're going live in another section of the house, but I have to do like a hard stop at 8. So this is let's just kind of wrap it up. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Why don't you tell everybody what you're doing and how they can follow you and what you're up to?
Yeah, dude. Patreon.com/theboyscast for extra episodes of the Boys Cast. And then if you want to listen to the podcast, it's youtube.com/theboyscast with Ryan Long. My personal channel with the comedy videos and street interviews at Ryan Long Comedy, youtube.com/Ryan Long Comedy, and everywhere else is Ryan Long Comedy too. And I also have another podcast called FCKONOI, FCK Anomics. I can never spell it, but I'm trying not to say the word.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I actually have one more super chat, and I actually like this. Chuck Morris came back and said, "Sorry, genitals. I blame autofill and alcohol." Nailed it.
Nice. Get it in
yeah.
ya. Getting friggin' tuned right up, eh?
Let it hang.
Get
Right?
it in ya. Just chilling down with some darts and some Mo Dry.
I like darts, actually. I haven't thrown darts in a while. Anyway,
No, I
guys,
was calling cigarettes darts.
oh, is that it? Never heard that before. I was about to say, is that some weird Canadian thing?
Yeah, there's funny Canadian things. Like if you call someone a goof, that's like the worst insult. Like it's basically like saying the N-word. Because
Whoa,
it means,
are you serious?
It's like jail stuff and you're calling someone a pedophile, basically. It's like the ultimate fighting words. Like there's a lot of weird, funny things. Yeah, it's like one thing you like, if you walk up to like some old, kind of hillbilly type, but Canadian version, you're like, this guy's a goof. He'd be like, that's fighting words, like immediately.
Where you throw gloves down?
Yeah, dude, immediately.
Oh, man. Good to know. Good to know. Because I every so often I'll be like, you goof, goofy person.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with it. But
I know,
man, little did I know I could piss off a lot of Canadians.
Yeah, you're calling him a pedophile. You're saying he has sex with kids in jail, basically.
Ryan, you're such a goof. The Freezing Ton says Ryan Long got kicked out of Canada because he discovered Justin Bieber is actually the love child of Celine Dion and Bryan Adams. Sorry, Ryan, the world needed to know.
I was the guy to break that story. Yeah.
Is that a thing that you did?
No. I actually, I was on the tour with this band called Headley, and Justin Bieber's mom's like a huge fan. And so she's like, dude, Justin Bieber's mom like would pay the money to get like the extra wristbands and all this stuff. Like she's like a big fan, right? So, and this is when Justin Bieber was like pretty popular too.
Yeah.
And then they took her, they have like a golf cart because it was like an outdoor show. And then so they brought her on the golf cart and then flipped the golf cart, and Justin Bieber's mom fell out of the golf cart. It's like such a silly story to have where you're like, I was in a golf cart with Justin Bieber's mom and like flipped it and she went flying.
Were you on the cart yourself?
No, but I was there. It was like the big talk of the night,
Like, yo, we didn't she's a MILF. Maybe she isn't. I don't know. I was gonna make some sort of joke there, but we totally flipped her over.
Oh, that'd be huge if you smashed Justin Bieber's mom. Huge.
Yeah, I was hoping to hear something. They're like, no, you didn't. No, maybe.
We always laugh at the idea that my buddy had he was hooking up with Jordan Peterson's daughter, like back in the day. So we always like the idea of like whenever someone was talking about whatever, let's say transgender stuff, it's like, oh my buddy's girl's dad was actually saying something on that the other day on Rogan. Nice. Your buddy's girl's dad. Oh, you might have heard him, Jordan Peterson, but referring to Jordan Peterson as your buddy's girl's dad.
You may have heard of him. Yeah, that guy's
That was
awesome.
so funny.
Oh, here we got one more. Dustin Allen says, Ryan, your video about the badass chefs was hilarious and spot on. I'm a chef, and
Oh,
this
nice.
this was spot on. Have you ever worked in a restaurant industry?
No, that was from my series, Torontopia, the CBC one.
Yeah,
So I was doing a video on all those things. I just know a million people like that, and they were
yeah,
popping up like nonstop. And I know, I've been in kind of like entertainment or whatever, so I know people that work in bars and all that stuff. So I actually did a bartender one, have all the bartenders in Toronto think they're celebrities, and then I did a chef one. Like I covered a lot of those like topics. But
nice.
it's yeah, I always love. And you know what? I actually had a chef joke that I was going to do because I was going to do this show about bartenders, this like digital web series. But one of the jokes that always made me laugh was, the trope where, someone is essentially this great singer and then they get like discovered where someone's like singing in the shower and it's like, you've got a gift. You know what I mean? I wanted to do a
Yeah.
chef that was cooking in the back, but he was doing like, and everyone's like, who was that? He's like, oh, me? I'm just, no, I don't know. I just do that every time now for fun. It's like, you've got a gift. Like you need to use that. He just like, he has the perfect growl, but he just
Starts
never
like a
noticed.
metal band.
Yeah.
It's a growling metal band.
He has the perfect growl, and everyone's like, "Who is that angelic voice?" But he's just,
He's
he
like,
goes
what
to
a
a hardcore
growling.
band.
Or he like kicks his foot and he's like, "Arrgh," angry at the pain. They're
Yeah,
like, that's what we need. Or have like a movie director that we're like, we really need to fit this. We need this monster. And then they hear it and they're like, you're the perfect monster.
yeah. He's just the perfect voice for
Oh
a
man.
gremlin.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. We're gonna have to cut
Yeah,
it off.
dude.
So everyone, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow at 6:30. It's jam night, so I'll be jamming some songs with my guitar there. You can also check me out on Twitch later tonight. I go on at around 10:20, whenever the Timcast IRL show ends. Mainly just because our internet is just crap. So thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you all. And remember to go subscribe to both me, Adam Cast, down below, and check out Ryan Long's channel, which is also in the description. You can check it out. Follow us both moving forward, and have a great night. Thanks, guys.